You are entering a dimension of sound. You carefully come in through the threshold with wonder, yet skepticism. You see the faint shape of an outline of a robot arm petting a cat. You faintly hear the haunting sounds of a man playing a tambourine. The sound augments into two men playing with a soundboard. You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Stay a while and listen.
And now, where Nephilim news meets biblical views, you'll find broken memes and shattered dreams. Give it up for Basil and Gonz.
Hey everybody, you are listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is March 23rd, 2020, and my name's Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast from
quarantine.
From complete lockdown.
You are fully locked down down where you are. I think we mentioned that last show, but it's just gotten more intense, huh?
More intense. Everyone was waiting for 322 something to happen, and everyone was saying martial law, and what we got from the press was this is not martial law, but we are locking everything down. So
yeah, great.
Here we are,
great.
And we're live.
Love it.
On a bunch of different places. We're live on the Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. So what's up to everyone there? We're live on Facebook, both in the Canary Cry community on Facebook and the Facebook page, and also the Canary Cry Radio YouTube channel and Twitch.
Twitch, what's up, Twitch?
We're live
people?
On Twitch. That's Basil's little crew there on Twitch.
Twitch, you're my people, man. Glad you're here. There's not a lot of you, so if you're in the Twitch, if you're on another platform, if you're watching from Face Like the Sun, unsubscribe. Head over to. No, just kidding. Stay subscribed. But if you're out there, go follow our Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Follow us. Watch on Twitch. That helps us out a lot, and you get to join the Twitch club over there. Gonz, just a little recap from last show. I freaked some of your people out, man. Face Like the Sun people. I love them to death, but they were a little freaked out by the googly eyes.
Yeah, what's up with the googly eyes? Explain yourself, Basil the handler.
Oh, it's a big time killer fofo. You know what? I don't need to explain anything, but I just want to thank the haters out there because over in Canary Cry community, I started getting all these alerts, people tagging me in posts. I'm like, oh, what's going on over there? And there was a whole thread about all the hate that I got on your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is fun. And everybody came to my rescue talking about how great I am, which is very nice to hear. You know, it's always nice. And I scroll up. I'm like, what started this? Who started this thread? And it was you.
It was me. Yeah.
I started it. Why do we hate Basil?
No, not why do we hate Basil? No, it was safe to do it in the community because obviously, you know, people love you there. So it's not like I knew people were going to come. You know, I wanted people to express their love for you, not, you know, the hatred. It's stewed more hatred if we did it on Facebook or some other platform. It's probably 50-50 on people that are like, yeah, Basil, and people that are like, this guy's a complete shill. Look at him with his googly eyes. Yeah, I know.
I like Willy Wonka in the chat here says, haters, bro, we have no idea who you are. Yeah, let's keep it that way. Obviously not a listener to the podcast. That's okay, Willy Wonka. You're a good guy. So what do you think? You want to jump into the show? We got more recap to do? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a couple recap things we can do, but I actually wanted to start with scripture because, you know, it's just something we should do because these times are a little, you know, people are freaking out. There's a lot of fear, especially like in the church. A lot of churches shut down. Some churches didn't, you know, and people are either praising or calling him crazy. It's so divisive. Everything is even more divisive than it has been. Yeah. But the passage that I know everyone's mostly familiar with, but I think it's worth pointing out is 2 Timothy 1 and verse 7, where it says, "For God has not given us a spirit of timidity," but sometimes it says fear, "but of power, love, and of self-control." And that's really the thing. This is a time we should be showing God's love. We should be showing self-control. and even his power, within all this, to be stern, be bold, and not really moving ground and that kind of thing, because things are getting a little dicey, Basil. It's getting a lot happening. They're expecting some wild things happening in the streets. And actually, let me actually go to a text message I just received before we
Hmm.
started here from a friend of mine who is in the military, and he received a message: priority of units, MP, Special Forces, Infantry, and looks like they're going to issue some sappy plates. I guess that's body armor. And then
Hmm.
he also said they're issuing 3K to 4K sets of riot gear. So
That's a lot of riot
a
gear.
lot of riot gear. And
Is that for the whole state, do you know, or just your little section down there?
I'm pretty sure it's, well, I don't know what the 3K to 4K of riot gear, what range that is, but
Right.
at least here, probably like South
Yeah.
California, Southern California. So like San Diego, LA,
Well, the
Orange
party
County.
just continues over there in California. FEMA
Yep.
Region 9,
FEMA
folks.
Region
Learn
9.
learn your FEMA regions. That's where we're going to be starting to have to identify ourselves. Lots of people saying, "Hey, from Tennessee, from California, from Texas here."
Yep.
Now you're going to say FEMA Region 9, FEMA Region 6, I believe is Texas. I don't know. I should bring the map up again. But there you go. Keep an eye on that stuff because when the Hunger Games starts, may the odds ever be in your favor.
Yeah. Look for the
Um,
googly eyes. Run towards the googly eyes.
Follow me.
Oh, the other thing, the other passage I wanted to point out here, and this is more in tune with biblical prophecy, but it's also something to keep in mind, is that hold on, also baby is
Baby awake.
baby is awake, baby is alive, so there's that too.
We'll see what
Um,
happens.
we'll see what happens. She wants my attention at this very moment, which is not helping.
She can
Uh,
be on the show.
I don't know if I want to live stream her. You
Nah,
know,
that's a good point.
that's kind of a dicey thing to do.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so let me show here. First Thessalonians 5 and verse 3. And this is, again, if you're into Bible prophecy, this is a passage people know about. While people are saying peace and security, destruction will come upon them suddenly like labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. And people talk about like, oh, peace, peace, sudden destruction, and they have reference that that the world is in peace or thinks that it's in peace before the destruction. And some people, I've heard people say, "Oh, the destruction is the Antichrist," and it's like, no, you got to read the whole passage here, the whole chapter. The destruction that happens here is the day of the Lord. This is the Lord returning, the second coming of Jesus. So when that happens, the world will believe that there is complete peace and security, and we're just not there right now, currently in the situation we're in now. So
Right.
people have said, "Hey, it's prophetic." Maybe there are some prophetic. Certainly, there are some prophetic undertones to everything happening. But to say that, "Hey, this is it. This is the end," um, I don't know if that's really the case. So that's something to keep in mind, and something to keep all of us encouraged that, hey, there's probably more to this. It's not the end. However, uh, United States doesn't look the same as it did, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, Basil. So, I'm just trying to
The,
keep level headed here and try to stay objective, but we are living in a totally different situation currently. We may come
things are
out of it.
moving fast. Things
Yeah.
moving fast, buddy.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We got the big guy on our side where we've
Yep.
got peace that passes all understanding.
Exactly. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Let's start out with a flippy update, huh?
Oh, we're doing a Flippy update.
We're doing it.
Oh, okay. I did not prepare for a Flippy update.
Uh-oh. On the fly.
I know. Oh, here we go.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, Flippy update. If you're new to the show, we are tracking the robots, how they're taking over the world. More specifically, the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. Today, I'm not talking about a robot arm,
Oh my
but
gosh.
something that is kind of spooky,
It's
man.
super spooky.
We
What
got we
is
got the
this?
robots taking over our jobs. They're taking our loved ones, and now they're saying prayers. This is from Vice.com. This disembodied robotic mouth is reciting algorithmically generated prayers. Now, just to give everybody just a framing in which to listen to this as I read it to you, artificial intelligence and robotics Of course, being connected to, well, it is theorized to be connected to whatever the one world religion will be, the technocracy, the technocratic sort of spirituality that we've seen bubbling up over the past years, especially being expressed and disseminated from places like Burning Man, where recent themes have been iRobot and metamorphosis that are all sort of surround the topic of spirituality and robotics. So here we go. Vice.com. New to the colorful exhibit halls of the Centre Pompidou in Paris, a roboticized silicon nose and mouth spouts AI-generated prayers in a mechanical voice. The syntax is correct, but the mishmash of words fail to form a cogent narrative. Quote, sometimes it comes up with things that are quite funny, giggled Demut Streib, the artist who created the art piece. The artwork, called The Prayer, is powered by an algorithm that draws from religious texts and prayers from around the world. Streib aims to highlight philosophical themes about the ever-increasing pervasiveness of AI and how that can affect our relationship with the unknown. One of her most famous previous pieces, talks a little bit about the artist there for a second. For The Prayer, Streeb worked with a team of MIT's Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence Lab that compiled religious texts and prayers from around the world. These texts and prayers are used as training data for a complex language processing model from OpenAI. You can ding the bell on OpenAI there. And after some fine-tuning, the program could independently generate its own prayers. The text generation was then combined with a text-to-speech program that borrowed the voice of Amazon's Kendra. Those who don't know, Kendra is sort of the genderless Siri, the genderless Alexa. So it's depending on if you're imagining a man or a woman, the voice is could be either. And synchronized it with robotic mouth and nose. Quote, some outputs are very bizarre and they sometimes get stuck in funny loops, said Enrico Santos, a data scientist who helped develop the artwork. We don't know what the prayer will say to the people at the Centre Pompidou, but we hope they enjoy it and will stimulate their thoughts. Are you set up to feed some clips? There's a clip on the page there.
The first one or the second one?
I don't know. First one. Do the first one.
Let's do the first one here. It's just a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Bring wealth from all sides, O Lord, inbound.
Okay, so it's
yeah, there you go. It's got a little chant thing, kind of like a Gregorian chant or something. The article continues, some of the thoughts Streeb hopes to stimulate revolve around the increasing power and ubiquity of AI. Inherent to neural networks, however, is a black box where programmers don't know exactly how an AI is getting a particular result. So
always the black box.
I know. Oh, you know what? This article's almost over. I'm just going to keep going. Okay. Quote, the Enlightenment gave us the slogan, dare to know, and that's really the biggest privilege we have, said Streeb. Science gave us freedom to understand the world and to control it, and now we're getting to the next level where technology could slip out of our hands. But Streeb also calls into question the limitations of AI. She asks if at any point an AI would be capable of having one of the most uniquely human experiences, a divine epiphany. Asking this is getting bogged down in the philosophical quagmire of what is a consciousness. Do you need this to experience the supernatural, and would it be possible for future AIs to do this? But that, of course, is the point of the artwork. Prayer will be on display from 26th of February to 20th of April.
Who's going to get to see it? Nobody, because everyone's locked in at home.
Maybe they have a live stream. I bet there's a live stream of it people can just tune into. Now, there's a couple things here. We're going a little bit long on this Flippy update, but because this connects to so many topics that we frequently track, man, I know you got stuff to say about this.
Me?
Yeah, one of the biggest complaints was that I didn't let you talk enough last
Oh,
time.
really? Okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Well,
gonna start throwing it to you, and you
just
need to make the
just
people happy.
all right. Well, there's obvious reasons why this is creepy to begin with, but the black box is what stood out to me because I've tried to learn programming. It's very difficult.
Yeah,
I think you've tried too, Basil, and I know there are programmers out there that listen, but and developers and stuff like that. The thing that I found interesting was that with a lot of machine learning and AI algorithms and stuff, there's a lot of places where you can draw inputs, and then
hmm
you sort of figure out how you want the output to be, and then how anything happens in between is sort of a mystery because there's no real clear step by step, you know, understanding of what's taking place. And so that's where it's people have speculated that hey, maybe there's a consciousness type of thing happening here where it's kind of like the brain where you have all these neurons and synapses and they kind of entangle and create this mind, that kind of thing.
yeah.
So when you think about that's already happening at the computing level, but do they really got to put the whole mouth and nose thing? Did they put it? Is it like
That's the
this?
art.
This is what I want to know. Is it like this in a little shrine, or do they dress him up as a person? Like, is it a how
I
far do they
think it's just
go?
that. I think it's just that box that you're
It's
looking
just
at
the
there.
machines
Yeah.
there,
And
and
But this is an interesting thing because we're moving into this. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with coronavirus, so we'll get there, folks.
yeah.
We'll get there. But first, when we look at the way the world's going, we're looking for technocracy. We're looking for the one world religions, things like that. We're looking for consciousness in robots to be able to blur the line between like what is a person.
Hmm.
We've been talking about the personhood of robots and also animals and all sorts of stuff. But these movements are really coming in and blurring the lines because, when full technocratic, leadership comes in, it's like, hey, well, we're gonna put one of these praying robots, in a Costco near you. You can come worship, with the robot. No need to go to church. No need to, have some bias pastor come in
Yeah, this is
and
this is going to have a sweeping effect on Catholics. It's going to just completely everyone will go Protestant, but it'll be because of the AI robot, not like you don't need a pope. We have a robot. Come pray with the
RoboPope,
robot.
Space Pope.
Space Pope
Um,
reptilian. Yep.
Yeah, so there you go. I don't know. I thought this was an interesting development in that whole line of theory that we've been tracking.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
We saw the Buddhist monks.
Mhm.
They did a robotic Buddhist monk that sings prayers, and it's become like a legitimate part of that particular shrine. People come in, they kneel or do whatever they do, and listen to this robot uh, recite Buddhist prayers, and it's a legit part of their spirituality. And so when we see this coming in, the fact that it brings religious texts from all around the world, they kind of conglomerated a bunch of prayers and religious texts. I mean, literally one world religion type stuff into this robot that's just constantly, putting the spouting the output of that. It's a lot of people I'm seeing in the chat, they're like, enough with the weird robot. I'm telling you, folks, you got to pay attention to this stuff
Yeah, it's going
because
to creep up and it's going to be
this is going to
everywhere. It's
creep
going to be
up and
weird.
be a thing. And
Yeah.
this is stuff that we're going to need to deal with. So
We'll
there
probably
you
get
go.
we'll probably get in trouble for thinking it's one of those punching face thingies. Walk by one and hit one, get in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, do not punch the
The
priest robot.
priest robot mouth. I don't know, man.
Yeah. No, well, it's gonna, going into the liability of AI as well.
Hmm.
The whole conversation about self-driving cars. Who's liable if it gets into a wreck? And there's a conversation about having the self-driving cars, AI. You can extend that to this thing,
Yeah.
or any robot really, having its own legal identity. And I mean,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Artificial intelligence.
Woo! All right, what's next?
Well, we don't necessarily have a jingle for this one because I wasn't sure what category it truly fits into, but you had it here. This is azfamily.com. 8 people arrested in California for reselling toilet paper and hand sanitizer at ridiculous prices.
Mm.
And
Sounds like some enterprising young folks.
yeah, well, this is an entrepreneurial state.
The American way,
The
baby.
American way. 8 people have been arrested in California for price gouging during the coronavirus pandemic. The San Diego County Sheriff's Department says deputies have been monitoring multiple online websites in person-to-person sales where people were selling products like toilet paper, hand sanitizer, masks, and gloves at insanely high prices. So what is it, like a Craigslist or something that they're trying to sell this stuff on, or some kind of
Probably,
third
yeah.
party?
Craigslist, Let Go, that type of stuff.
Through a sting
Facebook Marketplace, probably.
through a sting operation, deputies dressed in plain clothes met the sellers, made the transactions, and then arrested them. It is illegal in California to sell essential goods and services at excessive and unjustified prices during a declared emergency. Violators can face up to a year in jail and a fine up to $10,000. So there you go. Unless you sold some toilet paper and made 10 grand.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, depending on how much they
A
they
year in
made,
jail
that
and
might be
10K. All
worth it.
right, just got to budget it right to make sure it exceeds that. But of course, the year in jail wouldn't be fun.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
I found so I got on the marketplace, Facebook Marketplace,
Mm-hmm.
and I found a bottle. Let's see. How big is this? 30 fluid ounces? Ow. 30 fluid ounces. Okay, it's a big bottle.
Yeah.
Big bottle of Germex for $100.
Whoa.
Yeah. So there you go. It's happening around here, man.
It's interesting because we're in this moment of deflation. You know, they're printing all this money, so money is like the dollars are can purchase more. Plus everything else, the price is down.
Right.
But then there's going to be this crazy hyperinflation where your dollar can't buy anything, and it's already gone down like what 90 something percent since we went to the dollar. In terms of purchasing power.
Mhm.
But now this is like tangible $100 for a little thing of whatever, hand sanitizer or toilet paper or whatever. That's going to be when everything goes into hyperinflation. Those are going to be the actual prices of everything. You know, your dollar's just not going to buy anything. It's going to be worth.
Yeah,
It's going to be worth
I don't
less
know,
and less.
man. Unless modern monetary theory comes on in, where they
Yeah.
just tell you what it's worth, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I know, but we've
they
seen
control
countries
everything.
collapse with hyperinflation. So we'll see what happens. I guess the United States is at the top of the pyramid, so it's a little harder to take down in that. I don't know, in that way.
Yeah.
but-
Well, if I'm gonna get this hand sanitizer, I'm gonna need my Corona check.
we
from
need
the government.
we need the patrons to step up so we can buy $100. But the money's going to good use, folks. $100 bottles of hand
It's
sanitizer.
true. We got kids, man. We gotta. Well, you got kids.
I got
We
kids,
gotta
you
keep
got-
those hands sanitized for the
Hey.
children. Think of the children.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stop
yeah.
this progress before it is too late.
Speaking of which, oops, let me open this. There we go. Here's an article. Now, this is the New York Post, so you take it for what you will. Article titled, "We Should Blow Up the Bridges. Coronavirus Leads to..." Now, you and I and many people listening and many people who are sort of in our group, our tribe, if you will, are they're aware of most of the things going on. They're not necessarily super concerned with catching coronavirus. We're a little bit more scared of just people's reactions and what a situation like this can drive normal people to do. So here we are in the Hamptons. Let's see, read this article. It's all out class warfare in the Hamptons. Thank you, New York Post. The year-round residents, the locals who serve and clean and landscape for the super rich in the summertime and put up with all manner of entitlement and terrible behavior in exchange for good money, are silent no more. Quote, "There's not a vegetable to be found in this town right now," says one resident of Springs, a working class pocket of East Hampton. Quote, "It's these elitist people who think they don't have to follow the rules. It's not just the drastic food shortage out here. Every aspect of life, most crucially medical care, is under strain from the sudden influx of rich Manhattanites panic fleeing. They're all fleeing to the Hamptons, to their second homes there, bringing along their disdain and disregard for the little people, and in some cases, knowingly bringing coronavirus. The Springs resident says her friend, a nurse out here, reported that a wealthy Manhattan woman who tested positive called tiny Southampton hospital to say she was on her way and needed treatment. The woman was told to stay in Manhattan. Instead, she allegedly got on public transportation, telling no one of her condition. Then she showed up at Southampton Hospital demanding admittance. Quote, someone else took a private jet to East Hampton and did not tell anybody till he landed, the resident says. That's the most horrendous aspect. The virus is already here and we don't have any medical resources. We're at the end of Long Island, the tip, and waves of people are bringing this expletive, says lifelong Montaukers James Katsipis. Quote, we should blow up the bridges. Don't let them in. Oh,
Whoa.
no.
That's
Yeah.
pretty gnarly
I mean,
measures.
they're like they're rising up against the elites over there in the
Yeah.
Hamptons, man.
Yeah, but what if they can just take the helicopters or airplanes though?
That's what I'm saying. Go full GTA and steal their helicopters.
Just dome.
No, but I mean, this is a I don't like this. This is a terrifying example of how bad it can get. Now it's the New York Post, so who knows? It's probably a little bit exaggerated here.
Hey, we'll pay you to say it a little bit more extreme. No,
Yes,
I don't know
well,
if that's
you got to
going
get
on,
those clicks, baby.
yeah.
They got their advertising up on the site. So yeah, but this is a great example of like just the hysteria that people who are awake and paying attention are more worried about rather than, not enough TP because everybody got their bidets, I hope. Those of you who caught last show. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, hopefully this doesn't happen, but I guess this is the kind of rhetoric and the direction we're headed. The reason why they're deploying the National Guard and having all the military gear ready and everything with the official police state ready to go is because they expect some kind of civil unrest. So I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to be obviously the sentiment here with like, oh, the elite go against the elite. That has always been part of the whole idea of a new world order of like, hey, we're gonna stir everybody up. They're not gonna want to take it anymore, and they're gonna rise up, and that's a perfect opportunity to shake everything up.
Yeah, with all those brand new sets of riot gear that you've shipped out.
Yeah, and I've seen people point out how a lot of the policies and the things they're implementing, hopefully we'll be able to get off of it because objectively looking at some of the stuff, it's pretty socialistic, or some even say communistic in what they're doing with the whole track everybody with an app for coronavirus and stuff like that.
Right.
That China's
right.
already doing that we've been like, hey, that stuff's really bad. We've been pointing all that out over happening over there, and then all of a sudden we have the situation where everyone's like, oh, we must do this now. And hopefully it doesn't, like any crisis, it's not going to go to waste. It's probably going to stick around in one form or another. Maybe the public, version of it will die down and they'll change names or they'll end one program, but someone's always going to keep it going. And that's what I expect out of these types of things is this could be, the end of the U.S. as we kind of grew up in, Basil. It's kind of creepy to think about, but it was kind of known. We kind of knew this was going to happen.
Well, that's the craziest thing is like, the stuff happening now is just crazy confirmation of stuff that we've been talking about for 8 years now.
Yeah.
And certainly
A lot before
the veterans of
yeah.
our genre have been talking about for decades. I want to take a second and plug Canary Cry Community and give a couple shout outs. Canary Cry Community is, the Canary Cry radio community outside of Facebook, out of the prying claws of the lizard people over there at Facebook. So we do have a Facebook group called Canary Cry Community if that's what you do. But you're going to want to jump over to Canary Cry Community. It's a real URL. Head over there and sign up right now if you're in the chat. This is the place to be. We have threads, all sorts of threads. One, a sobering word of wisdom from Omega Frequency. People helping each other out, both emotionally and spiritually. We have a thread, I'm kind of scared, and people talking about, some real fears during these times. a huge thread about coronavirus. I mean, if you're looking for one compiled place that has all of the not fake news about coronavirus, you're going to want to head over to canarycry.community. We also got dank memes, all sorts of good stuff. Some math being done, real numbers on COVID-19. That's the place to be. And I want to give a shout out first of all to Lynn for being a big fan of the show and being a part of what we do here, and Smiley Pants also for adminning over at. Well, we got Smiley Pants and MacGyver, and I don't know. I need to learn who all is admins now. But thank you very much, admins over at Canary Cry Community. Big
right.
deal. And if you're in the chat right now and you head over to canarycry.community, I will approve you on the air, give you a little shout out. All right, that's my plug.
Cool.
You want to do another story? How's the baby doing? Are you being pulled away?
Actually, the wife kind of took her, so
Oh,
yeah.
well, that's nice of her.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes later, but let's go to another story here, and we don't always have jingles for everything, but here we go.
Yeah.
I tried to tell you, but nobody wanted to listen.
Okay, this is from Rolling Stone. Should I be reading this?
Yeah, you want it?
Okay.
Oh, this. Well, we can just do this really quick. And this was okay. Yes, I'll just do this one real quick.
Okay.
I saw this article because I thought this was the biggest sign that our economy is in trouble. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not looking at. Of course, the market numbers are concerning all sorts of stuff. But in America, unfortunately, the biggest online business is pornography. And here on rollingstone.com, porn industry calls for shutdown due to coronavirus. And that's a scary sign. When that industry decides to pull back, we know something is up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not much more to say about that, but I thought
True
it was
signs.
concerning.
Just being a true watchman.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let's try to go to another one here. You just made this document that just has a whole bunch of stuff in it.
I just threw in a bunch of articles because, stuff has been moving so fast, and we actually tried to do a stream pretty much every day since our last stream.
I know it's hard.
So there's been a lot of articles building up in the document.
Okay, so
just pick one. Just pick anyone you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this one here.
A new world order can emerge.
It's actually Bush Sr. there.
Mm-hmm.
FoxNews.com, National Guard to deploy 1,000 troops in 6 states in response to coronavirus. This was published on the 13th. So
this was
older.
A while ago, and
older,
that has increased since then. I mean, this National Guard deployment stuff is pretty spooktacular.
And we started the episode here, but just jumping into the article here, and it says that by the end of the week, we expect that number to approach 1,000. So far, 33 states.
Boom, ding, ding, ding.
Have declared emergencies in response to the spread of the virus, and President Trump was expected to declare a national emergency on Friday afternoon. Yeah, it's a little timed. It's a little dated article, but 41 dead. I think we reached 100 today. But yeah, there you go. This is just another report, I guess, of the happenings in terms of recent. And it's tough with the live stream because you throw stuff in there and then it's a few days later and we pick up these articles and it's kind of like
Well, that's what I'm saying. These numbers change so quickly. We gotta stream more often here.
I know. Okay, so here we go.
Going into I gotta say, for me personally, I'm pretty set. Got my Basil's bunker all set up. I got everything I need. Some light prepping over years has really prepared me for this type of thing, as a lot of people out there. But getting this close to actual martial law, I mean, there have been people making posts, blog posts, podcasts, all sorts of stuff. Every little thing that happens in the government, no matter who's president. First it was Bush on 9/11, then it was Obama for any number of reasons, and now Trump, we're talking about martial law is close, martial law is coming. Well, Shoot, man, we're about as close as you could possibly get. And I did start getting a little bit spooked yesterday.
Well, yeah, everyone was saying they're going to announce it yesterday. That was 322.
Hmm.
And but then the only thing we got, I thought it was interesting. The only thing we got was the head of FEMA saying it's not going to be martial law, and then that got everybody got everybody thinking, wait, it's not martial law, so does that mean it is, or like everyone's just kind of not really knowing how to deal with that or how to take that one. But you did have the ID 2020 link in here. Did you want to look at
Hmm.
that?
Yeah, I thought we'd talk a little bit more about the ID 2020. I don't think we talked too much about it last time. We just mentioned it. And
Okay.
I think that there's a number of people out there who might find the information interesting.
Right. Yeah. People have mentioned it and commented on it many
Hmm.
times. But if you go to id2020.org, you see the website here. If you're watching on the live stream, we need to get digital ID right. Identity is vital for political, economic, and social opportunity, but systems of identification are archaic, insecure, lack adequate privacy protection, and for over a billion people, inaccessible. Digital identity is being defined now, and we need to get it right. Discover the alliance. 1.1 billion without a digital ID. What are we going to do, Basil?
Oh no, they don't have a digital ID. How can you even be a human being without a digital ID?
The ability to prove who you are is a fundamental and universal human right. Because we live in a digital era, we need a trusted and reliable way to do that both in the physical world and online.
Yeah,
And
and a lot of people are connecting this. Bill Gates is connected to this. A lot of the health organizations are in conversation with this. I've seen a lot of stuff connecting ID 2020 to some possible forced vaccinations coming up.
right.
Obviously, a lot of people concerned about Mark of the Beast stuff
Hmm.
in regards to this. It may take the form of an RFID chip, something like that. On their page here, I thought it was very interesting. It says, "We are providing program support through our catalytic fund and advisory services to accelerate the uptake of good digital ID." So they're influencing, lots of influence cash there, a catalytic fund, which means it's a fund to do what needs to be done to steer the world towards this digital ID, steering the market towards good digital ID solutions through a certification mark, and advocating for ethical approaches to digital ID. And I would ask, whose ethics exactly are you
Exactly. That's the
are
question we always
you
ask when we
using
do this.
here? Yeah.
And there's a picture here under the Alliance tab, and you got your sort of UN looking room there. And I don't know, people that are watching can see this. I think I've shown this little art piece, you can say, before, where there's like a woman being carried by an eagle or something. Anyway, what was I? There was another part of this ID 2020 that was on my mind as well.
Well, there's a lot of, did it have something to do with forced vaccinations?
Maybe.
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation?
Yeah, I saw a pretty funny Bill Gates meme today
Oh,
about
good.
how Bill Gates is going to call the mark of the beast the mark of the beast, and then when
Yes.
asked, isn't that kind of obvious? He said, not for the people that are. What was it? I don't know.
Not
I'm ruining it.
not
I'm
paying attention.
messing up
This
the.
is great. Our
Yeah.
show is now Gonz tries to remember memes he saw once.
While trying to read this ID 2020 thing. That's I remember now. So what this the whole coronavirus thing is doing, I think to some extent, is and a lot of people are complaining about the whole setup of the whole medical industry. Like
Hmm.
people are saying that we're not equipped to deal, and I think that's always been true, hasn't it? That we're not like ready to
Well, our
handle a
supply
huge.
lines are all connected to China. I mean, we can't get anything without paying China for it.
Right.
Which is just a concern when we're, constantly going back and forth with tariffs, and if China gets cut off, then we're having problems with our entire medical supply line, which is troublesome.
Right, but I also think that part of the issue is going to be medical history, medical records, and how that gets passed around, or how that can get that information can go to the people that need to get that information quickly when it comes to doctors or whatever it is. And I get the feeling that part of the ID 2020 thing, and I've read a lot of the UN documents and everything, is to completely redo that infrastructure of how medicine even takes place. And so it's really interesting because while in this country we had a lot of the whole healthcare thing, we had the Obamacare, which is kind of like it almost feels like a prelude, to the whole bigger medical thing that they're going to do eventually. But it seems like that's part of the narrative too, to try to actually expose some of the problems with the way things are, currently,
Right.
and try to put in legislation or whatever it is they need to do to move towards a direction where there's a lot more digital identification that can be used to have a level of trust. And I don't know, Basil, there's a part of me that thinks, yeah, it's kind of, it's always that two-edged sword because it's going to help, there's a certain level of like, yeah, I think medical records and stuff, it's going to help people that need it. And that kind of information could be very time sensitive. And if there's a system that is in place that gets the information to the right people much quicker, then somebody's life, could be saved. So that's the double edged sword. It's like, yeah, that's probably good for the doctors, for the whole medical industry. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, what are we giving up for
Well,
that?
that's how it's always sold.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always sold. This is gonna save lives. This is gonna help. Same thing with the whole robotics trend we've been seeing. But I wanted to talk a little bit about it because there are some people who are super a little well freaked out. Specifically about ID 2020, RFID chips
Hmm.
coming in, and the connection to the mark of the beast. And it's been my long-term stance on it that I don't think we'll be tricked into taking the actual mark of the beast. Um, if you're a believer and you're worried about, taking some sort of mark, I mean, the Bible's very specific on what that means for you spiritually and what the implications of that and your beliefs. I personally don't think we're going to get tricked into taking a mark and have it be a big oopsies. It's very specific that, you're taking the mark because you are denouncing, you know,
Hmm.
God, basically.
Yeah.
So,
In full
I just want to
allegiance
throw
to
that
the
out there. I
dragon.
don't want people to freak out too much. If there's make sure to read your EULA, your user license agreement with your with your ID 2020, and make sure there's not a little paragraph in there that's like, oh, you release liability. We get to sell your data to corporations to help pay for this. And also by signing up for this program, you are denouncing Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and will burn forever in hell. No, I mean, look out for that. Certainly read the small print. But yeah, I think to people who are discerning and who are paying attention, I don't think you are going to be tricked into taking the mark of the beast without your full knowledge of the situation. So
Yeah.
you'll be able to make that choice, uh, you know, uh, an educated choice
Yeah.
as far as that
I'm
goes.
I'm glad the Bible doesn't come with a bunch of like contracts, stipulations
bunch
like,
of
hey, you can read
bunch of
this and you
fine
could be
print.
saved, but you have to, you got all this paperwork you got to do. Um, the other part of it too. Oh, so I have the meme here up on the screen in case anybody that wants to see it can see it. I'm not
Oh,
gonna.
meme boy. Let's
Yeah.
check it out. Let me
Are,
pop over to
are
one
you
of the
gonna look at it?
streams.
Okay.
Oh
You
yeah.
can reread it. I'm not gonna reread it. It's not really worth it because I
So,
already
Mr.
tried to do it.
Gates, when your coronavirus vaccine is ready for market, what do you plan to call it? Mark of the Beast. Mark of the Beast? Well, isn't that a little too in your face? Do you seriously think these fluoride stare zombies will even notice? Booyah!
With a picture of people partying with their red cups.
Yes, famous meme image. Bunch of
Meme template.
teenagers with red cups. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. Very good. There's Gonz with our meme of the day. Now let's see. I want to talk about China.
China.
Welcome to Chinese.
Because there's a lot of very interesting stuff going on here. Obviously, China being the original nation having a coronavirus problem. Um, and this is an article. This one is from RT, And then I want to talk about another article because we're getting some conflicting information here. RT says China getting back to business as worst of the coronavirus outbreak in country appears to be over. Here we go.
March
The
11th.
Chinese.
The
What?
old articles. We're
I
behind on
know.
the
Well, that's what I'm saying. When we take so long to.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
Okay, the Chinese economy is slowly recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic with production facilities, stores, and leisure complexes resuming operations after weeks-long closures. The coronavirus outbreak could have already passed its worst, the regional chief investment officer of UBS Global Wealth Management said as the number of new infections is declining in the country, but surges everywhere beyond it. Thus, the Chinese economy may become, quote, the first in the world to get back to normal, the bank's official believes. Earlier this week, Chinese President Xi Jinping visited Wuhan, the epicenter of the outbreak. Shortly after the visit, local authorities started lifting restrictions on some of the industries as well as on the movement of people and goods. Then it goes into some specific industries there, including manufacturing, tourism, retail, all sorts of stuff like that, talking about how it's getting back in business. A lot of articles were coming out about how China is going to recover. That's good news for us. Don't worry, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And then right as we were getting close to that light, Yahoo News came out and dropped this article. China's coronavirus recovery is all fake. Whistleblowers and residents claim. Now, I thought this was interesting because a headline like that is usually something you'd see on like a conspiracy theory website or, but this is Yahoo News. This is mainstream news. This is something you could see right off of, I don't know, Drudge Report or anything like that.
Yeah.
China's coronavirus recovery is all fake, whistleblowers and residents claim. China's claim of how it's handling coronavirus recovery should be taken with more than a few grains of salt. Even before COVID-19 became a global crisis, Chinese leaders had been criticized for their handling of the situation and lack of transparency about the disease's progression. Things now look like they're on the upswing, and businesses even appear to be headed back to work. But whistleblowers and local officials tell Kaiaksan
Kaizen.
Is that a Chinese outlet?
I don't know.
Okay. Kaizen. That's just a carefully crafted ruse, which makes total sense. That's kind of what that government does. Beijing has spent much of the outbreak pushing districts to carry on business as usual, with some local governments subsidizing electricity costs and even installing mandatory productivity quotas. Zhejiang, a province east of the epicenter of Wuhan, claimed as of February 24th, this was a while ago, it had restored 98% of its pre-coronavirus work capacity. But civil servants tell Kaizen that businesses are actually faking these numbers. Beijing had started checking Zhejiang businesses' electricity consumption levels, so district officials ordered the companies to start leaving their lights and machinery on all day to drive the numbers up.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, one civil servant said. Businesses have reportedly falsified staff attendance logs as well. They would, quote, would rather waste a small amount of money on power than irritate local officials, Kaizen writes. In Wuhan, officials have tried to make it appear that recovery efforts are going smoothly, but when central leaders personally survey disinfecting regimens and food delivery, local officials, quote, make a special effort for them and them alone, one resident told Kaizen. And in a video circulating on social media, residents can be seen shouting at visiting leaders from the apartments where they're being quarantined. Quote, fake, it's all fake. Yikers.
Wow. So
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Who do we
Gonz.
believe?
It's
Do
like
we believe
this. It's like
Yahoo?
the headlines from Yahoo and RT seems like they should be switched.
Yeah, RT Russian outlet. I did notice the flip. Did you notice the flip last? I don't know if it stuck, but all the news people were starting to say good things about Trump, and it was weird
Yeah.
for like a day or two. I don't know if it lasted, but I haven't
No,
been paying
we
attention.
flipped back to.
Oh, we flipped back. Okay.
Orange Man bad.
All right. I was gonna say it was a weird moment. Wasn't sure what to think of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is weird. Two different. Obviously, these outlets are very different in source or in, I guess, funding. You can say.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like, you really can't know what you're even talking about. But RT, I just kind of chose that RT article, but tons of mainstream news organizations were reporting that China's getting back.
Well, this is also
they're kind of
March.
doing a flip flop.
Yeah, this article on Yahoo is also March 9th. And yeah, I don't know. This is tough because it's like, okay, maybe it wasn't as recovered in March 9th as it is now, but then also this could also, again, it's so hard to know who to believe. When official outlets are contradicting each other, what do you do?
Well, you don't believe anybody.
Yeah.
That's what we do around
You
here.
listen to Canary Cry News Talk. Okay, so
yeah. So there's your Chinese news.
yeah, there it is.
Welcome to Chinese News.
You want a happy one real quick?
Happy one? There's happiness?
There's a happy one. We got some happy stuff.
Okay. I don't have a happy jingle.
That's okay. Ding a ding 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 a ding ding. Happy stuff. Yeah. That's a jingle I just made. Fox6now.com. Sign of hope and happiness. People put Christmas lights back up during outbreak. Milwaukee. Christmas is more than 2 months past, but social media users are digging their lights and decorations back out for plugging them back in as a sign of hope during the coronavirus outbreak. As people across the country are working from home or are under quarantine or lockdown, many have taken to Twitter to share photos of their Christmas lights to ask others to jump in on the bandwagon. One user wrote, quote, "Christmas lights give me hope and joy every year. I look forward to seeing them put up as a sign of hope and happiness. We've put them up while we're all having to stay in and away from each other. I thought these would help us all have something joyous and pretty to look at." So, you head over to Twitter. You got everybody putting their Christmas lights back up. Gonz, are you going to jump on this trend?
First of all, I think this is an elitist article because these are only people with homes that are posting
So
pictures. Privileged people that own houses putting up their Christmas lights. But also, this just shows people are bored out of their minds. And they just looked at the closest thing. The closest thing they had was, the Christmas lights are still here. They're the most recent big holiday thing. So people just started to decorate their homes again for Christmas. And wow, yeah.
Well, for people like me who just haven't taken down the Christmas decorations yet,
it's perfect.
It's a good excuse.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just trying to spread some joy. Okay, I'm not lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want. I don't want to just not climb back up into the attic and put these boxes away.
Yeah.
Or get up on a ladder. I hate ladders, man.
Yeah, I don't like ladders either. Or the big lifts, people use when they build stages and stuff.
Some cherry pickers. Pull out the cherry picker to hang your lights.
Yeah, serious people.
That's
okay.
Good.
Yeah,
that's good.
I guess that's supposed to make us happy. I don't know if that makes me really happy.
It's
it upset me even more if you failed.
Better than nothing for me, baby.
Okay.
Bring on the Christmas lights. Put out the big inflatables while you're at it.
Okay. Maybe this one will cheer me up because it's not a real story.
Great.
Babylon Bee.
Oh, yeah.
Nations' churches provide fog machines for families worshiping at home. There's a funny picture of a dad with his Bible. He's got his kids around him and just fog everywhere.
That's great.
Bless you.
In-home fog machines for that true megachurch experience.
Yes, U.S. to provide a more authentic atmosphere for families forced to worship at home. Thanks to coronavirus fears, the nation's churches graciously donated fog machines to their members for worship this past Sunday. Churches have been grappling with the logistical implications of worshiping remotely. Is a church still a church if everyone is assembling separately in his own home? What about those with no or poor internet connections? And most importantly, how would people worship Jesus in spirit and truth without a fog machine and complex laser light shows? Now you can have, it goes on. Wow, this is kind of long. Let's spend some time on this. Quote.
Yeah, usually they keep it short, but this one was important enough.
You want me to read the quote? No? Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you got it.
Now you can have a genuine time of worship and move of the Holy Spirit at home, said Pastor Jack Lantus in Portland as he set up a fog machine in an elderly woman's house. Quote, "It's just our little love gift, our little way to love on people, our way to incarnationally live out the gospel in a gospel-centered way." End quote.
Gospeling incarnationally,
Hmm.
gospel way.
Yes.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
Good old Babylon B.
Babylon
And
B.
this kind of goes back to the conversation we were having last show a little bit about the church, the state of the church's role and everything, and us as individual believers as well, which I think everybody's pretty clear on. Um, I didn't put any of the info in the document here, but I read a little historical essay about past plagues and the roles that Christians specifically played in that. There's a plague back in Rome,
Hmm.
back under one of the Caesars there. And, during a plague, they actually, some of the secular officials in Rome wrote these long diatribes about how these dumb Christians are getting too close to sick people. They're helping people. They're pulling people out of ditches when the rest of the Romans were just, throwing their sick in a ditch. It was the Christians that were putting themselves in harm's way and taking care of people in every way imaginable. And I think that, we talk as a church so much. We talk about, what would the early church do? What would the early church do? Well, this is a great time to practice your early church drills, people. You can have your home church and help people that nobody else will help.
Okay.
And so I recommend that to everybody.
Cool. I'm gonna bring one more story, and then I gotta run, Basil. And
Oh,
if you could
okay.
keep going, you can. But I gotta.
Nah, no, we can shut it down. We've been
How long
going
have we been
for
going here?
I don't know, close to an hour, kind of. I think
Kind of.
like a half hour.
Half hour, really? That's it?
Regular show time.
No way. That's okay.
Yeah, we have not been going that long, but that's okay. We got out there.
Yeah. Baby calls.
You got babies to take
I
care of,
know.
man. I
I
think
know.
we've gone about an hour.
Okay. Let's do one more, and then we'll call it a day for today. Where is my jingle?
Drone strikes have saved lives.
Can we shoot them down if over our property?
Drones.
The answer is likely no to that question, by the way. WashingtonExaminer.com, California police to use Chinese-made patrol drones with night vision cameras during coronavirus lockdown.
Yikes.
Yeah.
California, man.
I know.
I don't know how you do it, man. FEMA Region 9.
FEMA Region 9, having fun. A California police department is planning on using drones, equipment with cameras and loudspeakers to monitor a coronavirus shutdown. Monitor a coronavirus shutdown? Interesting. The Chula Vista Police Department recently doubled its fleet of drones, purchasing 2 of the machines from Chinese company DJI. The police department told the Financial Times that they would be outfitted with night vision cameras. Quote, "We've not traditionally mounted speakers to our drones, but if we need to cover a large area to get an announcement out, or if there were a crowd somewhere that we needed to disperse, we could do it without getting police officers involved," said Captain Vern Sally. Quote, "The outbreak has changed my view of expanding the program as rapidly as I can," Sally added. U.S. officials have warned about the threat Chinese-made drones could pose to the U.S. The company that the police department is purchasing from, DJI, is the world's largest player in the civilian drone industry. And actually, there is, let me pull up a video that I think Luke from We Are Change shared. And here is the video. I'll play some of the audio here. You can hear the drone actually making announcements here.
Greet each other from a distance without any physical contact. Keep a distance of at least 1.5 meters from each other. Walking for fresh air and outdoor physical activity is allowed.
There you go. It's
Oh my gosh.
it's pretty dystopian.
That is so
The
creepy.
drone
That is
flying and telling people,
straight-
announcements. It's very Skynet-ish. But here we are.
Yeah, straight out of the Hunger Games right
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Yikers. All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, I expect we're going to be seeing a lot more drones flying around. Of course, we've reported on the 3D mapping drones that will buzz over a neighborhood and create a full 3D map of the place. We're going to see more drone swarms, and now one might just come tapping on your window, making sure you're staying inside.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks. Keep an ear out for those, for all those tiny little electric motors running outside your house. And there you go. Okay, so you need to take off. Oh,
Yeah,
did
yeah,
you
yeah.
already take off? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we'll wrap things up here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you from YouTube over there at the Face Like the Sun channel. Thank you if you're over on the Canary Cry Radio channel. If you haven't done it yet, head over to Canary Cry Radio channel on YouTube. Subscribe there. We're going to be doing some stuff there as well. Also, many of you don't know, we do a podcast, and we've got tons of material just waiting for you during this time of quarantine. You got all the time in the world. Go to your favorite podcast player, search Canary Cry Radio for our interview show, Canary Cry News Talk for more current events. Check out the Joyspiracy Theory if you're looking for a laugh and some uplifting conversations with people just like you. Make sure to stick right over there at Face Like the Sun YouTube channel. Hit subscribe. Please take a second to share out this video or share any podcast of ours that you like. Let's get the word out a little bit during these times. This week, we are going to be trying our very hardest, and Gonz, I'm throwing our hat over the fence a little bit here. But just so everybody knows, we are trying very hard to be streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That is the plan, and we'll see how that works out. So make sure to tune in Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We got to get out there during this time where we're all this nonsense going on. And if you haven't done yet, go over to canarycry.community and join up. I'm not seeing any new members here. We need people to go to canarycry.community. If you're looking for a place to fellowship with people just like you, everybody's on the level over there, okay? No trolling, nobody's getting triggered. We're just helping each other out, discussing the types of topics that we discuss on this show and other Canary Cry radio properties. And people are just, encouraging each other outside of the lizard-like clutches of Mark Zuckerberg, not connected to Facebook. You got to make your own. You got to make an account. Okay, I'm sorry. You're just going to have to do it. None of this sign in with Facebook nonsense. So go make an account at canarycry.community. Also, here's the thing. Part of the hate that I received, Gonz, and I'm happy to take these darts, is, talking about Patreon. Here's the thing, folks. We are in this time where the economy, just the economy available to Gonz and I for working is we're in the same boat as a lot of people. And so if you find this show or any of our shows edifying or edutaintional or entertainment, education, edusainment, if it's keeping you sane, whatever it is, head over to patreon.com/CCNT. Here's the thing. We've certainly had the chance, and we've had many requests from companies who want to advertise to our audience, and we refuse every single one of them because at its very core level, we do not believe in selling your attention and your trust for our own personal gain. Okay, that being said, if you get anything out of our show, please, during these times, you can head to patreon.com/CCNT. Throw us a couple bucks a month. We got all sorts of fun rewards and bonus episodes. So you can just fill your entire day with more Canary Cry material, Basil and Gonz, the Basil and Gonz special over there. So please, we're not getting rich off this. We're just trying to make ends meet just like everybody else. So if you want to help out your buddies Basil and Gonz make it through the current situation, please consider going to patreon.com/CCNT. That's for Canary Cry News Talk. You can also go to patreon.com/Canary Cry Radio, and we're going to start giving shout outs. Okay, we're doing first name shout outs for people who help us out. And since last show, I want to give a big old shout out to, let's see, I don't remember when the last show was. Michael, big old shout out to Michael. Big old shout out to Elvin, and a big old shout out to Connie. Thank you, Michael, Elvin, and Connie. You guys are the best. And so please head over to patreon.com/CCNT. Make sure to subscribe at our Twitch channel. We're going to be doing a lot more stuff over there on Twitch. We got a lot of time on our hands now. That's going to be very fun. If you are a gamer, if you know a gamer, if you don't understand what your kid is doing in their room all day with their weird internet friends, you can go ahead and follow us on twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. We're going to be going through games, and we're going to be analyzing the messaging going on in those games, okay? You know, this isn't all this New World Order messaging isn't just in the news. It isn't just in Hollywood. It's also in the games that we're playing. So if you want to have a better understanding of that whole landscape, you're going to want to head to twitch.tv/Canary Cry Radio. Okay, I want to thank again everybody in the chat rooms for tuning in. You guys are the best, especially those 500 of you who did not leave when I started talking about Patreon. God bless you guys. All right. Anything else, Gonz?
Just a quick thank you to everybody who had super chats. I guess we don't have the thing that shows us exactly which super chats are coming in on the chat roll here, but there's some people saying that they sent in the super chats, so I'll take a look at that. I wanted to say thank you to those people.
Yeah, I don't know what Super Chats is, but thanks. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, folks. Like I said, share this video, share other videos, share the podcast. Let your friends know. We got to get everybody in here on the truth. That's right. You got to go out there, grab them by the cage and shake it, baby.
Oh, it's the New World Order. It's here.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Look it up.
Look it up, folks. That's right. Let them know where the best place to be in town is, and that's right here at Canary Cry News Talk. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. Lord willing, that'll be Wednesday. But until then, think outside the cage.
It's got to be biblical.